Hey there everyone. I'm making this video to try and help you understand why we see different phases of the moon. This goes along with step 4 in our packet, which is page 13, and hopefully this picture and my demonstration will make life easier on you. Of course, if you have questions, bring them into class. Okay? First of all, it says up at the top, the phases are variations in the lighted portion of the moon as we see it from Earth. Okay? If you look in this picture, we've got three things in this picture: the sun, the Earth, and the moon revolving around the Earth. And so I set up a little model here. Here's a quick shot of our sun. Okay? Here's our moon, and we see phases when we sit and look out from the Earth. So I'm just going to use my eyes attached to my head to represent the Earth. Okay? What you're supposed to see here, at every single position for where the moon is, half the moon is always lit up. Okay? The half that's facing the sun is always lit up. That can be confusing because some people might think, wait, I thought the moon's not always lit up. The part that faces us might not be. That's why we have phases, and that's what I want to go through. So we're going to start at location number 1 here, with the moon in between the Earth and the sun. So that's going to look something like this. And you might go, wait, isn't that an eclipse? It could be. But the way the moon moves around the Earth, it's not always perfect. Sometimes the moon's maybe a little bit down here. Maybe it's a little bit up here. But yeah, if I turn this around, I don't know if I can turn it around. All right, I can't turn it around. But if you look at my face real quick, you can see the shadow of the moon on my face. So there could be an eclipse, but that doesn't always happen because of the imperfections of the way things work. But in any case, if you're looking at the moon right now, when everything's all lined up, you don't see any of the lit up part facing the Earth. That's what we call the new moon. Okay? That's this first picture. Hopefully you're going to fill this in as I talk. Okay? Now, from where we're looking here, to go from position number 1 to position number 2, I've got to take my moon and I've got to move it a little bit this way. And hopefully what you're seeing, do you see a little sliver of light on the right side of my moon right here? Okay? Right over on this side. The moon's growing. Maybe you learned this in middle school, called a waxing phase. We just call it a new phase. It's a little sliver, which I think you've heard of as a crescent. So we call this phase the new crescent. Okay? A little bit past the new moon, you get the new crescent. Right here. Just like that. Fill that in. Okay? And we're going to keep going. I'm not going to stop every single time. Let's do a couple here. We went from new moon to new crescent. Then when you get over here, you can see half the moon that's facing us is lit up, the right side. Okay? It's growing on the right side. Really, that's only 1/4 of the moon lit up that's facing us. So we call that the first quarter. Then as we keep going, there's just a little bit not lit up. It's mostly lit up. This has a weird name. It's called the gibbous phase, but that means nearly full. Again, on the right side. We keep going so that now you can see me in the reflection back there. The Earth is now in between the sun and the moon. It almost looks like the moon's not lit up, but again, in the real outer space version, it'd be like this, a full moon. This model's not perfect. My head's ginormous for the Earth, so it looks like there's an eclipse, and sometimes there is. Sometimes there's a lunar eclipse when the full moon phase happens. Most of the time, it just stays full. Let's take a look at all of that now on our picture. We went from the new phase to the new crescent, first quarter, new gibbous, and then there's the full moon. We've gone from here to here, so we're halfway around. All right, let's keep going. We come back to this full moon phase. And as we keep going, now, do you start to see some darkness on the right? That's called the old gibbous. Keep going. and the moon is, the right side's now all dark, the left side's lit up. Sometimes that's called the third quarter. Sometimes that's called the last quarter, because half of the half that's facing us is lit up. And then when it's almost all dark, we've got the old crescent before coming back to the beginning, which would be the new moon phase. So we're talking about stuff like this right here. Old gibbous, third quarter, old crescent, and back to the new moon. And look at how long it takes, about 29 and a half days. That's where we get the month from. It's not perfect, but that's where it comes from. And in the old days, yep, they called it the moonth, which sounds pretty weird. Here's the funniest thing. Okay? It takes about 29 and a half days for us to go through all the phases. The truth is, for the moon to go all the way around, one complete revolution around us, only takes 27 days. But something else happens in those 27 days. The Earth has moved a little bit around the sun. So it takes a couple more days before all three things line up. It really only takes 27 and a half days for the moon to go around us. But since the Earth's moved, we need 29 and a half days for everything to line up. Right? Now that you've seen that, maybe you want to make sure you read this. I'm probably going to post a time lapse of the actual moon going through all the phases. Don't forget to flip to the next page and answer a few questions. And if there's something that's bugging you, we can talk about it in class. I hope this helped. Give it a try and come in with any questions that you have. Take it easy, everybody.